feels to ever have enough time to play at all. You know everybody wants to walk in someone else's shoes. Everyone's forgotten who they are.
All right, I'm gonna get started on doing my best to complete Town Hill. So what that's gonna involve is getting this road to where it looks like a road. I need to bring this area down at a grade that is, somewhat reasonable. And then ground cover and whatnot for up there on top of where the town actually sits. The first thing I'm gonna do is try and do something with my cribbing here. I've got a pretty wide variety of colors in the wood because some of it took the stain really well. I did an Indian alcohol ink wash on that. Some of it took the stain well, some of it didn't. I'm gonna attempt to kind of create a general color of all of that with some washes. I've got the cribbing washed. You can see it's all a little more uniform color than it was. I think that's going to be a good thing. I probably need to go in and maybe do a little dry brushing with a little lighter color to kind of highlight a few things. I'm going to give it a little more time to dry and kind of think about it. I've got some prep work here to bring the road down and kind of make that more of a gradual grade. I'm prepared to go ahead and sculpt a mold through there. That's going to be the next step, is go ahead and try and, you can't really see it from here, but there's a pretty big gap between where the road bed is and where that piece of styrofoam goes. Back in there, it's really big. I'm going to go ahead and kind of fill all that in and kind of do my best to make it look like a natural land formation, or at least, something that a crew of road workers made intentional. So I've got the sculpting mold put in. Can't really see what's going on back here, but I think I've got it reasonably adjusted there with the track bed that it's going to be fairly smooth. It's just now kind of getting to the I don't know what the word is, texture that you can kind of start working it in and smoothing it out on this end. See if I can kind of get in here a little closer. It's fairly smooth. Back over here, I've got these steps right here that are going to go in there. They're way too wide at the moment. I'm still letting them dry up before I cut them. It was just easier to glue them together about that length. I'll probably cut them to a scale, either 3 or 4 foot. This back here is still real soupy, so I'm going to let that dry just a little bit more, then I will firm that in to where I've got a nice smooth grade from back there to this road that it's kind of an idea of a road. It won't actually exist because there's just really not enough room back there. And then of course it will kind of reappear, I believe, in here somewhere. I haven't decided yet. That's still a ways off. But I'm coming along right here, so stand by. I've got the road pretty much interfaced with the backside of the hill. I think it's gonna be good. I know it's washed out really bad right now and you really can't tell. So the next step is I'm gonna let that dry. I think it's close enough. I could almost paint it right now. I think if I wait another hour, maybe eat some lunch, then I should be able to come back and paint it. And then I'm gonna paint it, and I'm gonna go ahead and start adding some of the gravel to the road as I paint. Okay, I've waited, I don't know, a couple hours. I've decided that the Sculpting mold I'm not gonna paint it tonight. It needs to dry overnight. So what I've done is I've gone back in and I've tried to kind of take a look at the exact placement I want for the town. What I've decided is Chillery's here. If I bring it forward, it kind of highlights that building a little bit. And that is the best looking structure of the 5. So I want to show it off a little bit. And by pushing Stu's back a little bit, where the front of that building is in line with the front of this building, I end up with a space right here. I'm gonna put a wood, I don't know, courtyard, I don't know what the word is, but there's gonna be a lot more wood there. And then that will be a place for Larry Presley and Log Cabin Country Boys to perform. So I think I'll put them in here somewhere. I'm also wanting to come up with I don't know, I can't remember who suggested it, but oftentimes in these tobacco shops, they would have a wooden, Native American wooden statue of some kind. That would be awesome. I'm gonna look around a little harder for something like that. But that's what I'm thinking about doing right now. You can kind of see from this direction, oops, sorry about that. From this direction, what that kind of does, you can really see the signage really good on Chillery's there. And you can also still see the other buildings as well. And then from this direction, it doesn't, change a whole lot, as far as the impact of the scene, but you still get to see a lot of that building. And I will have a boardwalk also from here this way that will eventually interface with that. So that's what I'm going to work on tomorrow. I'm going to hang it up for tonight, so stick around. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow. I've got my first layer of dirt applied. I went in with the paint and, powdered on the dirt after the paint. I came back after that and started working on the cribbing. And I thought that turned out pretty good. I added a set of steps here. I'm kind of getting a feel for what I'm gonna do back here. That's 2 pieces at the moment. I'm gonna probably redo that and make it one solid piece of wood. It's looking good right now, I think. I'm very, very happy with it. So what I've done for the dirt and the cribbing, I'm gonna show you that. This is Arizona Rock and Mineral, Cumbers and Toltec Earth, Cumbers and Toltec Ballast, and then this is Brownstone Super Dirt. If I haven't mentioned this before, which I'm sure I have, this is great stuff. You're gonna pay a little bit for it, but so far it's gone a really long way if you use it sparingly. And so a combination of these 3 things, I just put in a cup. It's actually over here. And that's what I made use of for the cribbing material. So that turned out really nice. So I'm gonna get cracking on some other things. As you can see, I've got the first base layer of dirt, probably 90% complete. There's still a few areas that I need to go in, and you can see that I've got my wood planking strung throughout. I'm gonna bring the dirt right up to the same level as all that wood planking, and then there's a few areas beyond that I haven't messed with yet with that first base layer. I've also got this area over here where I've added some loose fill, if you will. more of the brownstone super dirt. And I've also put in forest floor, which I've mentioned in other videos. What that is just leaves from the yard put into a blender and then sifted. Luke Towan is where I learned that technique from. I think this is some of the best ground floor type stuff you could use anywhere. It looks so real and so natural. If you haven't used that before, I strongly suggest doing it. So what I'm getting ready to do now, I'm going to go back in and finish that little bit of base layer of dirt. And then at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and start adding a little bit of foliage here and there. I'm going to try not to overdo it by any means. Just put some stuff in there to help blend the fore scenery into the back scenery. I don't want a bunch of stuff, at least not to begin with. And then you can see I've kind of gotten started on what I'm going to do over here next. Let me go around to the back side of the layout and kind of show you what I've got going on there. So with this building here, it happens to fall right on top of, I don't know if I can show you, probably not, but 3 of my block detection nodes pretty much are directly beneath it. So I can't easily drill a hole through the foam and the plywood for my lighting. So I'm gonna have to either come out and maybe hide that underneath the foam. I haven't quite figured out exactly how I'm gonna do that, but it's not gonna be that big of a deal. I still have, this to paint and kind of finish up the base layer of dirt here. And then you can see DeWitt's, which is kind of hanging off the edge. As I mentioned in my bucket coal video, I'm considering moving this back behind this track here. And you can see, if I do, I can lose the steps, and that's fine. That's the easy part. But the roofs will still actually prevent the building from sitting probably where you want it to. So if I'm gonna put the building there, I'm also gonna have to adjust where the roofs are. So I'll have to trim some of that back, and I haven't decided I wanna do that yet. But I do think that that's the best place for the building. What that's gonna allow is all of this area to be a real nice looking scene of some kind that's not just the building. It'll be the building and the scene. So that's what I'm thinking about at the moment. And what I'm considering doing is this area here that goes along the roadbed there is going ahead and taking all of that out. And then I can take that to the workbench. And one of the reasons why I'm considering doing that is that this track right here, right in front of the co-op, if I've got a nice free rolling piece of stock, a rail car, it will creep down this way and foul this switch. I've had some collisions as a result of that. So if I remove this, I think I can go in and maybe shim that up just a little bit to where hopefully I can make the area from about, the front of it over here to where a piece of rolling stock won't roll away. And at the same time, make this maybe just a little bit downhill to here so I don't have to worry about any of that either, or at least get it perfectly level. So that's what I'm thinking about, but the first thing I'm gonna do is go in and finish up Town Hill. So much for not getting carried away with the foliage. You can see I've done a lot of work. I've got trees back in the background, super trees. Now this shorter one back there behind Stu's Tobacco Shop, that used to be over here behind the river, but I stepped on it and broke half of it off. So I thought instead of just chunking the whole thing, I would just put it back there. I'm not sure if you can see back there very far, but I've got some other foliage and things back there to kind of help add depth to the scene. Use some clump foliage, some of the foam stuff, the woodland scenic stuff here and there. I try not to use too much of that stuff because too much of it to me just kind of looks like you've put foam on the layout. I think if you use it with a variety of other materials, it comes out looking pretty good. I've also ballasted, and in the Leyland Sun area, I revamped all of the dirt. It's still just a little damp, so it's probably not quite the color it will be when it's completely dry, but you can see it's a lot closer to the color of the town. So done that. I haven't done anything here yet. I'm gonna wait until I'm ready to kind of make a final decision on what I'm gonna do in here. I went back and I did take off the steps on the back side of the blue building. I'm still about 2.5, 3 scale feet short of it being where it will clear a rail car. But I think I can do that with the eaves of the roof. I just gotta figure out a way to do that I'm not, destroying the whole building in the process. So that's gonna be the next step, is go ahead and cutting out all of this area and then removing it so I can work on it. And then, like I said in the previous segment, do something about the track leveling in this area. So there it is. Fairly well, I would say over half the layout is at a level of completeness that I'm satisfied with. Last week, I happened to be on some military leave in the state of California. And I got lucky enough to meet James from Boulder Creek Yard. That's a model railroad channel on YouTube. If you should check it out. He does really good work. And he's also a member of the Silicon Valley Lines Model Railroad Club. And I believe they're out of San Jose. I'm not sure what town it was. It just so happened that I was about 20 minutes from their club layout. And so I got to take a look at what they got going on there. I'm gonna leave you with some pictures of their model railroad, so enjoy those, and thanks for watching.
Never have enough time to play it all. Everybody wants to walk in someone else's shoes. Everyone's forgotten who they are. Such a crime to waste his time away. Such a low down, goddamn dirty thing. There's a man that I know who works his fingers to the bone. Never gets to spend any time at home at all. He's working, slaving all day, watching his life skedaddle away. Another life